10 seconds remaining. 5 seconds remaining.
Welcome back, guys. We're here with game number 2, Virtus.Pro against LGD. I'm Durkit in the JD Studios, casting the MLG World Finals 2015. Let's head to the draft, shall we? So game number 1 was, it was scrappy, it was messy, but LGD, they got themselves a lead and they took it to victory. Got every Roshan, took every fight pretty much, and I don't want to say they cruised to the win, but they definitely seemed comfortable at the end. My co-caster here tonight, Scant. What's going on, man?
Yeah, before the series started, I think I said to you, I could see LGD taking this 2-0. If this is LGD that's like ready to rumble, like knows what they want to do, taking this tournament very seriously and kind of like figuring out their play style because the major's coming up. But after watching that first game, I don't feel like one game is usually like that much of an indicator for an entire series. But just because of what that game said to me in terms of the draft, that LGD maybe aren't actually that sure about exactly what they want to do just yet in this patch. And Virtus.Pro seem very sure of themselves and what they want to do and very in control of their aggression and when they want to go in and out. I definitely would favor Virtus.Pro here. I feel like, not just because obviously they're a game ahead and so they have momentum, because it seems like they've got a better handle on how they want to play Dota right now.
They want minus armor? No, tons of it. They do not want the Shadow Fiend over in the hands of maybe though, Radiant side, and I can definitely get behind that. While LGD actually ban out the Ancient Apparition in the first phase there, so Virtus.Pro get their hands on a first phase Queen of Pain, which, to be honest with you, is a hero that we haven't seen a lot of early in the draft. You know, she's been a hero that's kind of relegated to the middle or the very end of the draft as kind of, hey look, there's a Queen of Pain in the pool. Long gone are the days when she was first picked, first ban material, but still a very strong hero in her own right, and they get the matchup for it. Difficult to contest. Now, LGD, where do you go from here? Because in the first game, you know, you said it pretty clearly that their draft was pretty, you know, it was stock standard, right, for Chinese Dota from all eras. And with the Lina coming out now, are they going to revert back to having a mid Lina, or is it going to be running around as a support for MMY?
Okay, so this Lina Tusk, it makes me think, okay, they've decided going with stock standard old school LGD, not right, let's go with stock standard new school C deck. That's what this looks like to me. It's like, this is like the very recent meta coming out of the international from Chinese teams, and wow, they'll be facing down a Brood Mother straight away, and this is a hero we have discussed, the early first phase Brood pick, especially the specialists from Vega and Virtus.Pro, Mag and DK Phobos, who were trained by some obsessive Brood Mother player from CIS pubs.
Some guy who lives
like,
up in the mountains in, you know, a little cave. He's in the hermitage, learning and playing Brood Mother.
So now we have these two like Padawan and Brood Mother players who are just like miles ahead of anyone else at playing the hero, and it's terrifying. It's really, I mean, the strength of this hero, even as an early pick, is that whether or not you draft away or plan a way to deal with it, whatever way you have for dealing with it is going to require you committing resources to dealing with it all game long. It's a near impossible thing to sort of shut down Brood for a couple of minutes and then just forget about him and go do your own thing.
Yeah. You definitely have to commit multiple stages in the game, especially when the build order is so up in the air. You know, it's a relatively dynamic hero. Long gone are the days where each patch had like one build, right? Where we used to see the old Orchid build, then we saw Midas Dagon, we saw Midas Necro Book. Now, Ace Boots Orchid, so go for the Midas Orchid, anything, you know, is viable on this Brood Mother, depending on how aggressively you want to play, how mid-game focused you want to play, or if you want to play the Battle Brood, go for an early BKB, AC with a butterfly, and blink around to our heart's content. Now, LGD, they've got decent ways of spamming out Spiderlings, but with the Brood liking Ember Spirit, Virtus.Pro take care of that, and they get rid of the Alchemist. No Acid Spray, no gold being built up for LGD here, and you know, we've seen Starla's Alch in the days gone by. His Alch was really a threat. Now, I'm not too sure where this hero fits in outside of the mid lane. I know FNG has played its support a couple of times, which it's a possibility. LGD, banning out a lot of supports here, and I wonder if they continue.
5 seconds remaining.
The first advantage of Brood Mother being shown here in the draft, LGD are taking much longer in this second draft stage than Virtus.Pro have on all of their picks and bans. And it's because of the brood mother, right? It's easy for Virtus.Pro to have an idea of which heroes they want to ban, whereas LGD, once that brood mother's been picked, the rest of the draft, every decision they make is taking into consideration is that brood mother. I guarantee it. It's like constantly in your head. You can't. It's not just some other pick and now we carry on with the draft. You're thinking about it all the time as your draft progresses, and there really aren't a lot of heroes like that. That like once the hero gets picked early on, think about how you're going to deal with it. So quite a strength. And if LGD continue with this kind of like TI5 CDC style of drafting with the lean and the tusk, maybe we expect to see something like a Phantom Lancer coming out. Which other heroes? There's a Visage that comes out a lot in those drafts. Don't really expect them to take Bounty Hunter. What, Sand King? Yeah, that's one response to Brood Mother for sure.
The ROTK special. Oh, I'm guessing here you put Sylar on, not Sylar, you put DDC on the Tusk. And I say this because DDC was like one of the first players in China to play Tusk, you know? We saw a lot of CIS players playing it, and nobody touched it. Nobody in China was like, this is a hero, we're gonna go for Tusk, you can snowball and do crazy stuff, except DDC. Loved it. Now, Lina, I'm still unsure. I see her going towards the mid lane to deal with the Queen of Pain. Stanking off lane, Tusk as a support. You've got tons of stuns, honestly. Absolutely tons of them. Do they want the Sand in that 1v1 against the Brood Mother? Is that going to be their plan with Sandstorm? Deal with the Spiderlings, or do they shift it around a little bit?
I'm not too sure. Probably they want Sand King to be up against Brood Mother. I mean, it's difficult to imagine pick a Sand King into a Brood Mother and that's not your intention. I suppose they could craft lanes without the Sand King that could just kill the Brood Mother. And personally, I almost feel like it's a more effective counter to Brood to have constant threats on her life than to have a hero that just passively lanes against her and trades farm. I think that if Brood has to constantly be scared of being ganked, that can actually push the Brood out of its comfort zone. And all of a sudden, it's not dictating the pace of the game the way Brood Mothers often do. But if you just dump a Sand King or an Axe or whatever that people like to do against a Brood Mother, as long as the Brood has a plan for how to deal with the matchup, the Brood can still be in control of how it's trying to, set the pace of the game. So but even with the Sand King, I guess what I'm trying to say is it would be nice if they have threats to kill the Brood in addition to having a hero that can lane against it, and they certainly do have it with the heroes they've got there. So laning matchup could go either way.
This draft dynamic you were talking about is completely switched. Pro after the Sand King pick have stalled. They're sitting there twiddling their thumbs going, hang on a second. Hang on a second, where do we go with this? They go back for the Spirit Breaker here, and FNG, he showed how strong that could be from the 5, he was in the 5 roll, honestly. That was not a 4 roll Spirit Breaker, he did not get any items. The Ancient Apparition took all the farm away from him. But even just this hero charging around causing havoc. So it's difficult to deal with if you're a Sand King, who is very positional based. You want to be sitting high up in your lane, be harassing, a little bit of havoc with Sandstorm and the threat caustic with your Burst Strike.
Can you imagine being a support hero that has to deal with laning against a Brood Mother and getting charged by a Spirit Breaker? Because we might see that in this game. I mean, support heroes that have to lane against Brood often just leave the lane early on, but wow, that's actually... Okay, so FNG's intel was good because last game his final ban was the Lycan.
Yeah. And
we were like, oh, that's like an old school silo pick, but actually as it happens, this is something they're interested in picking right now, and I wonder if that's based on actual research that FNG had done or connections he knew of, or it's just coincidence that that's the hero I was worried about last game and that's the hero that LGD are going for this game, and that's certainly a novel approach to the Brood. Because what it gives you is that build up in the mid game where if your progression's correct, you can actually push fast enough to, in some situations, just ignore the Brood.
Yeah, you're right. I mean, I've seen this. I've been watching FPL games from NA. I've been watching a few NA games as well, and I know a couple of players have played it in the off lane. I definitely do not see that here. And like we're saying, this is a silo hero through and through. The guy knows it. The guy loves it. He has been hit hard with the nerf hammer over the years, over the past 4 or 5 patches. He's not the hero he used to be. He can still push, his howl is still incredibly strong, but Shapeshift isn't that, instant, I'm gonna run away, I'm gonna charge you down. It does have that little sort of transformation time through it, and Wolves, they're definitely not the threat they used to be. They used to be chasing supports down, killing Crystal Maidens back day, and now they're relatively weak. But
5 seconds
go
remaining.
back for a Wisp here, and
It's-
I'm worried.
Virtus.Pro's draft is like each consecutive pick is like trying very hard to get into the heads of LGD.
Yeah.
It feels like deal with this now, guys.
Yes.
Deal with this now. It's like,
Exactly. But then, like each consecutive pick has confused me more and more. Like, okay, not the Broodmother, but Spiritbreaker Wisp. They, you know, I've kind of rationalized them in my head, but overall the kind of the kind of overall ruling of this draft doesn't seem to click just yet. Like, good
Well-
ban out there from LGD, the silencer though. LGD final pick. Do you? I feel like this is a Tusk Lina support, Sand King off lane, or Sand King Lina support and Tusk off lane. Lycan
10
mid.
seconds
Not Lycan
remaining.
mid. Lycan safe lane. It could be Lycan mid potentially, but they're looking
Yeah.
for a maybe
5
hero here. I
seconds
feel.
remaining.
yeah, because Lycan mid is one way to make sure you almost certainly dodge the brood. That's why it maybe could be. But actually, it's a Witch Doctor, so I guess maybe we'll be playing the Lina then.
Okay.
And
Okay.
Witch Doctor nice against Wisp. I think that the threat in Virtus.Pro's draft is mostly about mobility. Brood's got webs all over the map running at like max move speed all around, and Wisp is going to relocate Bristle in, Spiritbreaker's going to charge, and Quap's got Blink, so they can kind of be all over the place. And that's a pretty big advantage to have when the enemy team doesn't have that situation of being all over the place. It means you're likely to have a numbers advantage whenever the fight breaks out. But in the same breath, I want to say that Sylar playing Lycan in this game is going to be really good, because what do they have to deal with I mean, if Lycan ulties, is it like Spiritbreaker's job to hold him down while everyone else quickly kills him?
He can do a decent job, but you're right. What guns do they have? Nothing. There's absolutely can reduce his armor. They can maybe fight him, but on the flip side, LGD have 1, 2, 3, 4 stuns. It's
Yeah.
going to be ridiculously easy to control some of these heroes if they get that initial hit. You know, if the Sankey gets a blink dagger. And a
5
good timing.
seconds remaining.
Yeah,
Yeah,
and they
that's
have
pretty
that.
rough.
They therefore have that threat against the Brood. If they start making early kills on Brood and carrying around dust, Brood would have to be a bit more careful. But mostly, yeah, I think if Sylar gets his farm and starts having the game he wants, he's just not going to be controllable. He's just absolutely not going to be controllable in this game.
Now, you're speaking about getting into their heads. I love this. Casual, have fun from Lil. You know, you read it with that intonation as well. Like, have fun.
Have fun.
Yep.
I mean, you don't want to, I guess it's like, I wouldn't say good luck to you, because I'm going to beat you, but have fun.
Oh boy. Now, MMY has picked up the Tusk. You see on the Witch Doctor, which I find very interesting. 'Cause
Yeah, I
Witch
was going to
Doctor,
actually...
which was like MMY's hero over the past couple of patches.
Yeah, MMY invented the
Midas.
Midas Witch Doctor in
Blade.
China, but I was gonna say, even though DDC was, I think you're right, one of the first Chinese Tusks, MMY did actually also play the hero.
Okay.
So they both do have, as is commonly the case in Chinese support circles, both players on the team play pretty much all the heroes, and they kind of decide based on case-by-case situation, which is very, very different to Western support players who usually specialize very specifically. So I'm not sure like what the decision's about in this particular case. It might be about who's going to get what amounts of farm. I do think that MMY likes to roam more than DDC does early on.
Yeah.
I mean, he was like a specialist in the roaming Mirana back in the TI4 days. Even though the DK didn't draft it then at all. Building up to TI4, they were like big roam Mirana pickers, and MMY was always the one playing it. So I would take a guess and say we'd see him walking around quite a lot, and that's why he's the one playing with Tusk, because DDC, sure, he can gank, he can roam, but he's not like a natural, instinctive, I want to walk around the map kind of player for me that much.
Now, this bottom lane, ROTK Sand King up against DK Phobos on the Broodmother. This is heavily going to come down to this first sentry placement. Players have 1 sentry. This could be make or break for the lane, because the sentry deals with the sandstorm from King, which is why I think he's waiting on his skill point. Wait and see what he has to go for first, cutting down the trees, DK Phobos. Actually now, with that Tango being on cooldown, he's not going to have it. He's not going to have the ability to cut through that little sentry ward.
It's actually this lane, I mean, look at, this is exactly, we talked about how DK Phobos and Mag got trained by like that elite Russian player, and just look at this approach to the lane. I think it's something that he's recognized, that at level 1, the Sand King is not even close to being a counter to you. You can actually just bully him, and that's what he's doing to start with.
I'm going to hit you, I'm going to hit you, I'm going to hit you. That was support pulling through though. MMY has got the pull through. DK Phobos, where does your web go? This is the next big question. Get little spiderlings to run around right now. But nothing's going to happen down here just yet. We can take a look at the other lanes, because middle. Illidan, Bristleback, Lil on the Wisp, all mid against maybe Lena, who's taking a hounding. She's got a magic stick, but look at that. On the old HP, mana, she's got to start spamming spells out as well, while up at top is aggressive dual lane. I use the word aggressive lightly here because it's more of a we want the static farm dual lane with the Witch Doctor and the Lycan, you know? Lycan now farm through and try and stop G on this Queen of Pain dominating too hard because FG, the Spirit Breaker, he's not a zoning support. He is not in the same position as DDC where he can do this. Pile on the pressure, G forced back to his tier 1 tower. The roam through Lil. Interesting. Lil? Is he attacking this camp? Not quite.
Got it.
Sure,
Yeah, so FNG can't really be harassing or zoning much in this lane, but they can threaten to kill. I think Spirit Breaker and Quap could kill Witch Doctor, whereas it's very unlikely Witch Doctor and Lycan are ever going to make a kill. As I say that, FNG runs in to get some harassment out, but he's going to go back pretty soon. He needed that level 2 before he could start trying to trade hits. I think there's actually some potential in the early game for Virtus.Pro to put the pressure on LGD in all 3 lanes. That's, for me, if I'm LGD, a little bit worrying actually right now. And we do see MMY making a rotation early onto the mid lane, and this might be where LGD makes their move on that Wisp.
You think they're worried? I'm worried. My camera's just like moving from lane to lane. Here we go, snowball in there, under the tower, and Lil, oh boy, you're in trouble. Light Strike array on the 2, and they've already killed off the Wisp. No, they're going to fall shortly after, but the Bash comes through. Charge from the level 2 Spirit Breaker kills that attempt. FNG, okay, he'll pay with his life. But he saved the Bristleback, which is important.
That's that MMY rotation, because honestly, with all 3 lanes being static, it really did feel to me like LGD would be under pressure everywhere. One rotation and suddenly you've killed both enemy supports, and that certainly reduces the pressure. There's actually going to be a charge onto ROTK as FNG respawns, and might be a dead Sand King, depending on how it plays out. He does have a level 2 stun.
Well, they've got the sentry ward there as well, so I have full vision of this. He's going to be able to stun himself away. He's waiting, he's holding on to it. He's stunned, but DK Phobos, can he get this? Can he get the Spiderling charges? He's going to keep vision with the Spiderlings, he's got it. Level 2 spawn Spiderlings, 1 hit. Oh no! RTK dodges it under his tier 1. DK Phobos,
yeah,
out of range and held on.
He sandstormed for so long that he had his sandstorm again. And FNG will now switch his charge attempt at mid lane, but I don't know if he can commit to this. Yeah, he cancels it. So far, if we have to compare the rotations from MMY's Task and FNG's Spirit Breaker, it's very clear to me that yeah.
Hey! Maybe, you're not meant to do that.
That's, I mean, I'm talking about how the Tusk rotation has been more successful, but that's part of it. That's like, oh, here's another one.
Lil, you have nothing to tether onto. Oh goodness, Lil, you're just gonna get punched down to finally get to target, but maybe with a Dragon Slave up to level 3, hits level 6.
Level 6.
4 minutes 20, she's level 6. Okay, we're looking at a dual lane here from VP, and she's been alone for the majority of the time, but still, this Laguna Blade is gonna start demolishing people.
Look where MMY has gotten to. I mean, it's just like, he started this whole snowball that's got his team ahead now early on, and doesn't seem to be showing any signs of stopping. Maybe, I don't know if he wants to keep focusing on this mid lane, or I think that if he, the ward placement, very useful, but I think that if he could somehow make a kill in that top lane, it would really be helpful to his team. But as I say that, Lycan's getting excellent farm now. Since they drew Spirit Breaker away from the lane, Lycan and Witch Doctor are actually just winning this lane against Quap.
Yeah, the static farming lane up at top. FNG had to move himself around, and G doesn't have the staying power. Queen of Pain is an excellent safe lane dominatrix. That's what she specializes in, the Queen of Pain. She wants to 1v1, she wants to crush people. But against these 2 heroes, she can kind of, it's the old situation where we used to see, MVP do the Beastmaster Phoenix kind of thing. You draw supports in, but you also leave these awkward kind of 1v1 scenarios where the Witch Doctor's 1v1 in the
mid lane.
And getting a decent trade. Oh, you're right. Shards are good. Illidan, yeah, stunned up. Laguna Blade, yeah, it's needed. They need to pump out this damage, and they will do so. Well, I punched down in the end. FNG, hey. Gets a bash over, but maybe turns and fights. They got the damage here, but with the Wisp coming in to heal him up, FNG gets a bash, and a secondary hit. FNG kills off, maybe! The Lena's dead, but the cask bounces back and forth. They want to kill MMY, but they're not going to be able to get the chance. Lil and FNG. That was, once again, these 2 supports are killing people on their own. They don't need core heroes, they don't need help. It's Lil and FNG.
And speaking of people who don't need help, DK Robust actually solo killed ROTK during that fight. So suddenly that bot lane is going to become extremely scary for Sand King. I did see MMY pick up a Dust on Tusk, so possibly the plan will be to actually gank into that lane as well. Poor MMY is being a lot being asked of him right now to kind of like dominate all the lanes for his team.
Run here, run there, do this, do that. Illidan, and he's been stunned up. The Light Strike Array's there, but look at this charge and Wisp. They've got Spirit Breaker to disrupt, they've got Lil to heal. Maybe they can find and kill an FNG, yeah, with the Dragon Slave they will. And Illidan, oh boy, you don't want to get to there. Sylar has arrived to the scene of the crime, and this Lycan doesn't like what he sees.
What's happened to the Dust? MMY had Dust on him. He like... Oh, you each gave it to RTK. Yeah.
And RTK instant. Interesting. Not for kills.
I think he was hoping to find a kill with the stun and epicenter. Now the Dusk is gonna be on cooldown, and even with MMY, it's not gonna be. MMY is actually under pressure himself by these spiderlings.
God.
And the charge is coming in. Oh.
MMY is down to half. Oh, MMY is dead to spiderlings alone. Like, oh, snowball up and turns back on FNG. Witch Doctor arrives, and with the Voodoo Restoration, themselves healthy. But look at this. In from the back, Illidan Storm Rage. He's on a rampage. He wants to get into the thick of things. They finish off MMY with
Here comes Maybe.
Spiderlings. What level's Maybe? He's got Laguna Blade and he's got stick charges to throw it, but they're just bailing. They're running away from this little spiders. Lil Teller's back, and Broodmother made her way all the way from behind the tier 1.
The entire Virtus.Pro spot.
Charging onto Maybe. Oh, cancel this. Unless Maybe turns around. Or that little twit there from Maybe thinking, I can get away with walking. Oh god, no, there's a Spirit Breaker. There's a Spirit Breaker and there are webs everywhere. Not going to be able to get away with anything.
The restraint being shown by LGD this game is similar to what I was commending out of Virtus.Pro last game. If they decide to just go back because, look, the enemy team is all committed here. It's very early on, Wisp is not even level 6, and our Lycan is split pushing another lane. I think it's really intelligent of LGD there to pull back.
Sylar has been very quiet this game. Been coddled, protected, hidden away under the guise of Witch Doctor standing there and just tanking everything up. But now, been spotted. FNG has him in his sights, and with the TP up to top, no, not coming. No one, no one.
Sylar's only complaint will probably be that he's had to share XP up until this point, so he's not at the level he'd like to be. But he's at the farm, he's at the time, and the game's certainly progressing at a pace that he'd be fine with.
He's still going for the treads into Vlad's. Too different there. Next item though is going to be the interesting one, you know, whether he goes for the BKB, the Necro Book, or Battle Sylar, who actually tries to get off his ulti. Does, will, G, Sonic Wave, not going to finish him. Sylar's too tanky for that, and here comes the turn.
Spoke about this, you don't kill that Lycan if he gets his ulti off, it's just like, you don't have the tools to kill him, and FNG on the other hand, they have the tools to kill him.
Almost certainly. Maybe he's got that killing blow from the Laguna Blade.
You notice DDC is taking a point in stats actually on Witch Doctor?
Oh really?
Yeah, not maxing the heal, rather just like that 1 point in heal taking stats. It's probably more efficient use of your mana actually, get more out of less.
If you're not going for Maledict builds, don't really go for that, 1 point in Maledict. You often need to spend multiple stats points and skill points into it rather. Not really worth the value point because there isn't one.
It's another charge.
Oh.
Onto Maybe. With the relocate ready, but they pull out anyway.
Maybe he's looking to go again. Has a clarity and gonna bottle Crow. Middle lane, they want Sylar. Go down onto him, they know the shapeshift is on cooldown for a good old while. But again, what is their initiation? It's FNG. They don't have DK Phobos on a hero that can charge it in. Hook shot can blink.
RTK is being charged.
Yep, you're right. It is all down to FNG, charging around and finding openings. They've got relocate, and this is something that Spirit Breaker is pretty good at. FNG's not level 6 yet, so RTK can Burrow Strike over the cliff and far away, but how far? Sandstorm is there. We're going to be able to retreat from that one, though.
This is... So, in almost every way, this game's going really well for LGD, and one way it's going badly, and as a result, they're losing. They're actually behind on gold. They're slightly ahead on XP, but it's just Brood. It's Brood. That's, I mean, we spoke about first phase, Brood pick, how it dominates the game, controls the game. ROTK constantly feels the need to go back to that lane and contest it. And because of that need, that's the only reason that Virtus.Pro getting anything.
It's a difficult lane.
Radiant structures
Even
are
even if
fortified.
you are seen as some kind of counter to the Broodmother with that Sand King. Tier 1 at mid, try to deny. I get it. Hit out by G will finish that one off, but they've got the Death Ward here. Illidan taking a pounding, and Lil doesn't have the relocate ready. Epicenter will come through, they'll kill off the Witch Doctor in the back, and Illidan, are you really able to tank through all this damage? With another stun coming out, maybe you're... Yeah, he's dead. He's dead. Sonic Wave out from the Queen of Pain. They'll help take down the Sand King. FNG Spirit Breaker, way too deep. Meanwhile, down the bottom lane, DK Phobos. Yeah, I'm not sure about this trade.
DK Phobos is a full Orchid at the base, by the way, and that's at 12 minutes.
Top tower is under
And it's the same dynamic from the start of the game till now. It's LGD are winning the game everywhere except in the fact that Brood is just absolutely monstrous. And honestly, yeah, for a
Sailor.
different Brood player,
Oh, they're dead here. G comes in to scout things out. He says, hey guys, look, there's a little
no
Wolfie.
ulti. And they'll know that when Silas ulti is not ready, and that's one of the ways in which the hero has been nerfed, I believe, actually. That level 1 the ulti cooldown is really pretty bad. When he doesn't have ulti, it's quite easy for them to kill. When he does have ulti, it's nearly impossible for them to kill. But yeah, I was going back to the Brood thing. If there's a Brood player that can do this for his team and really like do a lot of heavy lifting, DK Phobos and Mag, those are the players we're talking about. And is that Orchid reveal? No.
Quite yet. The thing is, in that split second, I'm not sure if they've seen it either. MMY? MMY? Fucking to the... Oh god. He gets a snowball off and now turns things back around with the cask out and he's still dead. Dead to rights and maybe starts up. They've got the damage here. RTK though dusts and stops the advance from DK Phobos. RTK. Sandstorm there. You're not really doing too much. Oh, good stun. Good stun! RTK catches that Spirit Breaker mid-charge, DDC. Oh boy, you're dead. Maybe on the run out, Light Strike Array will land onto one, but that one is Illidan. And he is tanky as all hell with his Vanguard and Cloak. Oh, there's the Orchid back off cooldown and... Oh goodness. 12 to 11 is the score. LGD were ahead by what, 3 kills before this?
Yeah, and I think LGD misjudged that situation. They probably called for Silas but not come to the fight. If Silas at the fight, they can probably win it. Without him at the fights, it's just there's no chance at all. And I think it's maybe underestimating the power of that super early Orchid. I guess it's the first time they saw it actually in that fight. But the Brood and the Quap with the Orchid and the Shadow Strike, just like once the fight starts going Virtus.Pro's way, they're just gonna chase down and kill every single hero there, and that's what happens.
MY, he's got himself Treads and Bracer. He's not looking too bad. I'm still so fearful of this FNG Spirit Breaker ball. Still, as the tournament's going to progress, this has to be something you target ban against VP. Because game number 1, game number 2, well, let's talk about game number 1. FNG was going around killing core heroes with a Spirit Breaker plus an AA ult, right? So it was 2 supports killing people. Now it's FNG open up kills across the map. Any hero that is on his team. Relocate ganks in for Broodmother, for Queen Pain. He is the synergy player. Even if he doesn't have a synergy hero like a Darkseer or an Earthshake or something like that, he's just opening avenues that weren't originally there, which you just don't see from Spirit Breakers nowadays. They're so careful.
He also comboed so nicely with Avenge last game. It's like very clearly a hero that he's thought about a lot, like which things to combine it with, how to make good use out of it, and I absolutely agree that it's a potential hero to target against Virtus.Pro if you're looking to draft against them. Another one obviously being this Broodmother, which is just like... I honestly believe that Broodmother single-handedly carried them through the early game. And then after winning one fight, suddenly Virtus.Pro are significantly ahead in a game where they started a bit behind.
15 minutes in, they're pushing a high ground, tier 3, knocking on the door. The Broodmother here sending Spidlings back. Now, this situation here is where they have struggled before with the Broodmother. They like to pile in onto one lane, but with the strength they've got, maybe, Yule's into the air after the Sonic Wave, but FNG comes in. Another strike at the ready, not going to throw it out just out to the Lina. DK Phobos can't get into the thick of things either. This is somewhere where VP have struggled before when they're playing with a Broodmother. They get an early lead, and they try and push it a little bit too quickly. Blink from RTK is ready. Level 1 on the Epicenter, but FNG, oh god, there's a snowball save, and the Wolves punch through. They've got the little Spirit Breaker, but the damage they're doing is ridiculous. Illidan tanking through it all, Silent chasing down the Wisp on the back end, and he dodges the Dragon Slave with the back. They've got the stun forward, but RTK, the Sandstorm, it'll be just enough with the Light Strike Array to kill the Bristle.
It's still Laguna.
Laguna Blade, but there's an Orchid from the Broodmother. There's G here with level 4 Scream. And Illidan has 1500 HP with a Cloak. So difficult to actually kill him off.
And I think you're right, ultimately. Virtus.Pro may be forcing the issue a bit too much here. And they lose a fight quite unnecessarily. Lycan actually got the tier 2 top before he even came back. And his base was pretty healthy, his team wins a fight. So, looking pretty solid for LGD. And Sylar's got his Necro 1 plus a Vlad. If he gets the Necro 3, suddenly the dynamic of the game could change quite dramatically. Take a look at Maybe, he's picked up a Shadow Amulet, so going for that Shadow Blade himself.
Yeah, I've really liked seeing the Shadow Blade into like Aghanim's or Shadow Blade into Stone Linas. I've really not liked the Yule Scepter Linas a lot recently. You know, it's good movement speed, it's good mana regen and stuff like that, and they're gonna kill off yet another illusion up at top. The kind of utility you get from Shadow Blade Lina, the fact you can just stun out of Invis and not get counted out by, you know, Orchids of their own or anything like that. It's RTK. That
RTK's gotta know by now. It's like the 20th time this, like, whenever he's standing in a lane sandstorming, he's being charged. That's just like facts of life in this game.
Middle tower is under attack.
But yeah, the Shadow Blade Lina up against Brood, Wisp, Airbreak, and Queen of Pain, just that secret stun, you know, the one you get from Invis rather than the Yule Step that's set up, and they know it's coming. They feel it's coming. It is just so much more versatile, I feel, than the Yules. Well, where it goes into after it.
Yes, theoretically he could even go Silver Edge against Bristleback.
Oh yeah, that's true. That's a good point. And he gets a stun of FNG here, but Illidan comes in. Okay, oh god! Maybe eviscerated by Illidan's Bristleback. They're going to chase down to Lil in the back, and Spell should be able to pick this one up with his Necro Books. GK Phobos is in your face. He's killed off Tusk, and now RTK he's walked into death here almost. DDC with a dust out onto the Broodmother. I'm gonna throw a stun. Go on cooldown, I guess.
So even though Virtus.Pro win that exchange, it does show that weakness that they dropped we spoke about in terms of dealing with Lycan, because they lost the Lina almost instantly, and Sylar just ultied, ran through 3 enemy heroes and attacked Wisp to death, and nobody could stop him. So overall it's good for Virtus.Pro, but it's maybe one worrying sign about how to contain the Lycan when he's ulti. He's still far away from being farmed enough that that's a huge issue for you. He probably wants Necro 3, he probably wants maybe even a BKB or some other item on top of that. When he gets farmed enough, the answers are just not there in Virtus.Pro, and that's maybe the major positive for LGD in this game moving forward. That they know they Lycan can just be a monster in fights.
Yeah, definitely. Definitely. Now, build order for Lycan. What do you think it goes after Necrobook? Because you mentioned BKB. I'm not so sure against like the physical damage and magical damage output is what, Scream, as well as Spawn Splitterlings.
Yeah, he'd be buying it just to like not get orchided and shut down before he can ult. Yeah, that's like basically the only reason. It's probably not worth it.
Okay. So what do you reckon then? AC for the bonus armor you get?
Yeah, AC seems like the right thing to get. I can't, unless there's like some other creative item I'm not thinking of.
Sigil's gonna see them. Maybe is the one that gets caught though, and he's dead already! They relocated as well, but Evermore trying to save for the snowball. He's just rolled himself into the meat grinder.
And
gracious
DK Phobos the Spiderlings finished off the tier 3 during that.
No, they didn't.
They did. They did. And creeps must have been there recently because there wasn't regen on it, and they just like charged in and killed it.
What a hero. What a hero, guys. Broodmother. Counter pushing Lycan. Tyler is sat behind his racks hiding in base, but you know what? They've seen ROTK halfway down the bottom lane. He's stopped the push down at bot. He's gonna give his life away for it though. So he stopped the push for now, for a couple of seconds, as Illidan just walks up and buildings. Thank you. I'll take your range racks. 21 minutes took the BP to finally get that first racks, and honestly, LGD, how do you stop this? Your Sand King has no buyback. You don't have that.
They're probably gonna drop it.
You don't have the blank. Gonna drop the racks. You don't even glyph it, right? You glyph mid if they go for
it. I think so. I think you'd save for mid, and until Sand King's alive, you really just don't want to commit. On the other hand, if Sand King spawns and Virtus.Pro are still around, I fully expect a commitment. Virtus.Pro seems to be quite aware of that situation themselves and more than happy to pull out, as I've been seeing all series long that they've mostly had a good sense of that. There was one maybe premature push early on in this game, but other than that they've judged very well when to be aggressive and when to pull out this game.
I'm away with the buckler. Now, is he going for mech this late on into the game? Or is it like...
Well, he had the buckler a long time ago, actually, I want to say, so I think he was going for mech. I think he might have actually had the buckler before he even finished his treads. I'm not completely sure, but I did see it a while ago.
He had treads bracer, then must have gone for buckler. But I'm feeling...
So he just hasn't had, yeah.
I'm feeling Crimson Guard. Like, buckler on its own is a good... It's a decent sort of tier 2-ish, whatever, value item, right? It's pretty good with the bonus armor you get against this nasal goo and the nonsense being thrown out, good against the spiderlings. I don't know if you have the time or the inclination to off into a mech or a Crimson Guard, or if that's going to be useful to you. But Blink, Glimmercape, Force Staff, Shadow Blade. There are so many more utility items that MMY could go for that are maybe more efficient in terms of sort of goal to effectiveness. We'll see.
I don't know. It's difficult to imagine where he's going to find farm unless they actually manage to win fights. MMY must be feeling a bit sad because he made the plays early on in the game. He set his team up and they were looking good. And right now, there's not a whole lot that he can do, personally. I mean, it's again going back to the same thing we saw in the first game. Virtus.Pro waiting for rush. And I mean, can LGD even get to the rush pits? Can they? Because LGD are pretty scared to split up right now. They're against the Spirit Breaker Wisp combination. And previously it was Spirit Breaker A, same kind of thing. If you split off, you get picked off. They have to group up, they have to go and commit to the rush pits, and that's what they're doing right now, because since they have to be grouped, they might as well be grouped at place where the objective is.
Look at these webs! DK Phobos is just like placing webs all across the Roche pit and then up into this Radiant jungle. Maybe he has the Shadow Blade, and that potentially is the way in. Fire, sentry wards here, they're rushing forward, Lycan. Yeah, RTK misses that arc strike completely. They're still going to go for this though. FNG out of mana. He's got the Glimmer Cape up on him, but they've got Reveal, they've got Vision. FNG's dead. The Sonic Wave doesn't do a damn thing because the Snowball from MY captures him and RTK, and LGD are doing it. They've got 2 kills already with DK Phobos and Ilton now charging down at DD. So he uses the support bloody Witch Doctor. RTK misses yet another stun, but it doesn't matter. They've got the kills, they've got the team fight win they needed. The TP out there, not enough though, as Sylar does drop to Illidan, who's tanky. Got the damage output, and they're actually going to try and kill him off here. The stun, RTK doesn't miss that one. But Illidan, is he killable? With these Necro books, they've got a ton of DPS, and yep, they're going to bring him down in time. Slowly but surely, the Yule Scepter, the earn damage, the stuns, the everything, locking him down for a good 30 seconds. Took for them from start to end of fight. LGD-Gaming.
Is FNG really committing here?
Bloody hell.
I guess he is, they don't have any mana.
MMY. Oh, he's got stick charges. He's got a buckler. He's got HP. And FNG just goes for the deny. He's got another charge in a couple of seconds though, and I'm not sure about this, matey. G
going in.
He's back up here. Charge, bash, orchid, stun, dead. There we go. VP, find something in return.
And do we see Virtus.Pro going straight back into that rush pit as soon as Bristleback's back? It looks like G's kind of starting it himself.
Before Bristleback turns. Now, MMY did finish the mech, so my big point was that I was worried it would take too long, that it wouldn't be relevant. But if he gets it there, then fine. Great.
I gotta say, that's a fight where we saw that Lycan strength. I mean, there's just nothing at all to contain him, especially when they start on the Spirit Breaker, who's the one hero who can kind of contain him. He just got free reign, eventually died to Bristleback, which is also why RTK whiffed his first stun. You could see that they really didn't want to start on Bristleback. I think that if LGD are forced to fight into Bristleback, that's how they lose the fight. If they manage to go on other heroes and ignore the Bristleback, it's actually pretty easy going for them.
Roshan's dying very, very slowly. LGD have all of their ultimates back up. 3 seconds for Epicenter to return is nothing. Illidan, bashed up by Roshan now. Just look at the positioning of Virtus.Pro. If there's a smoke here from LGD, they could potentially wrap around. Say potentially. It's going to be difficult, but there is this, little alleyway that you can get through and come through to backstab Virtus.Pro here. That's LGD. Where's the smoke? Korea?
There is one sentry on MMY, and I think that's why they're waiting for the careers, bringing more sentries to DDC.
Top tower
Because otherwise that Glimmer Cape is just going to do too much work if a fight breaks out. Certainly a way to deal with the like and just, you know, glimmer the person he's targeting. I guess there's the Necro 3, but I'm actually talking rubbish, because if they have the Necro 3, that's not necessary at all. They are sending out more wards.
G says, screw that, I'm gonna go and take top tier 1. He doesn't get the last hit, but Mr. Catapult did finish it off for him.
bottom tower is
Does this team just lose 2 towers now as a result? Oh, he's TPing back here, he just blinked his way there.
Yeah, G can see. Broodmother. Got webs all over the Roche pit. LGD. They retreat slowly but surely back into their jungle. Just look at the scouting though that these little spiderlings are actually giving. Lots of intel there for Virtus.Pro, just seeing what's going on, where LGD are heading. But you said it pretty clearly, you know. If they split, if they go alone, they're gonna get picked off. And for the past, what, 4 minutes? Where have we seen every single LGD hero? In this box right here. They haven't dared to leave this box. They want to safeguard their own jungle. They want to safeguard Roshan and make sure VP don't rush in and take it. I'm just wondering now if Virtus.Pro maybe could do some split putting of their own. Because they've got tier 1 and tier 2 at bottom lane. TP back to go back into the Roche pit to contest if LGD go back in there. Kind of interesting that they're guaranteeing or dedicating so much time to counteract what LGD is doing to counteract them. It's kind of weird.
That Virtus.Pro have now committed all their heroes except actually FNG is far back, and he's going to charge in now.
Oh, RTK, he's in there, but he's bashed up now with a dust onto him. Ilden, smack, smack, smack. Yep, RTK, 4 staff back actually. A G, Sonic Wave across the bow. 3 of them hit, 2 of them dead already. DDC and Death Ward didn't do anything. A right click from TK Phobos and G will. So gets the kill on the Broodmama, but sprints himself away. It's running out though, 3 seconds, 2, 1, back to normal man form, and you're slowed, you're stunned with a bash from FNG. There we have it. I say it and it happens.
You know, that's
complete
just
role reversal.
It's just frustration, I think. I think that ROTK knows his team is not getting a good trade if they just sit in the jungle together for the rest of the game. He wants this fight to happen, and I think eventually he just threw his hands up in there and he's like, fine, I'll just charge it and like let them go on me, make something happen. Maybe he does get a pick off on FNG. Just like, not really relevant that much to stopping the push. He's gonna take more than maybe. Although I say that and it runs out of mana. It runs out of mana, so can they even go to the rush now?
I mean, bottom lane is decimated, so LGD have to deal with this, push it out, and then deal with Roche. I feel that VP probably can, but Broodmother and Spiritbreaker, like, they need the Brood, they need Spiderlings, they need to get in there with a bit more damage.
I think that LGD could win that fight if ROTK somehow got out after they initially went on him. He forced himself out and then Compulsy just finished him off. Because, I mean, you can absolutely see LGD don't want to just stand around in this little area that you've been pointing out, you know, just kind of doing nothing the whole time. Drawing looks really weird. I don't. Anyway, but to start the fight by suiciding Sand King is not gonna make things that much better. So you need a way to force the fights while still getting all the important spells off, and that's quite difficult actually. It might require Tusk to just frontline, I think.
Tusk with his run in there, snowball, and try and get things done. He's been trying to save the snowball as like a failsafe, you know, counteracting what VP do aggressively onto Lina. Like an Virtus.Pro. Let's see how it goes 3rd time around. Into the Roche pit we go. So 1st time, LGD stomped them. 2nd time, VP crushed LGD. 3rd time, G to get that DD rune. He has bottled away. G has BKB Orchid and a plate mail.
RST gets going in.
Oh god. Well, Rush is dead. First strike. Nope, not doing anything. RTK is already charged up and gone. No buyback for your Sand King, and now how do they escape? How do they run? EDC went in to try and fight with RTK, but he is a witch doctor.
They were just a bit too slow. They went in a little bit sooner. Maybe RTK gets there before the rush goes down. Manages to stun 1 or 2 people without their BKBs on. Completely different story, and it starts to feel like this is a bit of a repeat of the previous game in terms of dynamic, where Virtus.Pro had a plan in both games. Very clear sets on what they want to do, how they want to approach the game. They're going to apply a lot of pressure, which puts them in an advantageous position to get rush all the time. And they're going to get rush all the time, and that's their approach to closing out the game.
Yep.
Wasn't as straightforward this time getting the rush, but they're there now.
they've hit their timings very well. Like Bristleback, it's never felt at any point that Bristleback's going to fall off. You know, I've never brought this up, never felt that Illidan was going to struggle to farm, or if he was going to struggle to continue item progression. It's always been very crisp and clear cut, you know? This is why BKB, after the Vanguard and now into an AC, has been very, very on time. Very, very well played. Laguna Blade is going to try and take down the Wisp, but he runs away and he's actually Ghost Sceptered and invis with that Glimmer Cape. G, BKB, Blink, and Tyler. You're left to try and battle up against Lil, but it's the bashes from FNG that are keeping you held in. And you were asking you during the draft, what do they do to actually cope with the Lycan? It's FNG's freaking RNG. The Bash Lord himself. Lock down the Lycan and LGD, that's it, they're done. 2 racks down, third lane to follow. Lycan dead for a minute. Same with your RTK Sand King. Maybe cannot defend the base alone. Virtus.Pro. Bratans. They're winning. They're winning in style.
We didn't have a good answer to fighting the Lycan, but to kite it around, bash it a bit, blink away, Ghost Scepter up your Wisp, it's... Yeah, that's gonna do the trick. And again, like last game, now we get to this point where it just feels like the gold deficit is just too much. It's just really, really difficult to imagine LGD coming back into the game. I could maybe still see them winning 1 or 2 fights, but to properly reassert themselves is a completely different story, because what they need for that is to win fights in positions that convert into objectives, clearing up the last 3 outer towers, or maybe even pushing the enemy base. And I think if they do win a fight, it'll be like at their own base, and we'll take everything out of them, they'll lose a bunch of heroes, and it's not actually enough.
Radiant's top tower is under attack.
Tier 2. You try and defend it, Sylar, because you're walking into the wrong neighborhood. There's tons of heroes here ready to actually defend the defense. Spread out pretty nicely as well. FNG, he's got full vision. He knows what's happening here. Sylar, they can see you. They know where you are, and they're charging straight on into you. Maybe you can land a light strike away from here. You cancel out the charge from FNG, but Illidan, he wants in. He's still got the Aegis, and with the snowball, the punches, the stuns, the everything. They'll finish him with a... Oh no, with this no... Oh, what? Going to blade and punches don't kill him. Illidan is unkillable. Brought back to the fountain by the Wisp, and DK Phobos is dealing with Sylar's Lycan. Sylar come back with full HP and they can't handle him. Done a blink back by Lil. What a player, honestly. Blinks back to safety, doesn't get stunned. Illidan just tanks everything up. He's got the damage output to kill off him, and why the Mac doesn't save you, and ROTK DDC maybe, and Sylar. Honestly, you don't have any stuns, you don't have any real big damage to stop the strength of Illidan's Storm Rage. He's on the front lines, he's tanking everything up. He's just running you down. The Yule Scepter will stall things out for a couple of seconds, but G just blinks forward. And I think for a long time, G has been like the star player of this team in the middle lane. But FNG, from drafter to genius to absolute RNG god, this Spirit Breaker has won them this game.
Yeah, you could even say he might have won them this series. He's absolutely great performance from FNG, both in captaining, making the calls where you see them go in and out, and in terms of just decision making with his ganks. The only other thing I'd add to this is this must have been one of the most frustrating series of Sylar's life. First game he played Juggernaut and just could not get Omni Slash off, and he got picked off a few times, and every fight he would just somehow not be able to Omni Slash. In this game, playing Lycan against the lineup which is almost incapable of killing him,